Ladies and gentlemen, Elon Musk will be releasing unredacted Twitter files, internal dialogue, discussions on why Twitter employees or Twitter officials suspended the New York Post and suppressed and silenced that story. Understand something really quickly, ladies and gentlemen, and if there happens to be a morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrat that stumbles upon this, the reason the story was silenced and the New York Post was suspended has nothing to do with a robust debate among Twitter employees on how best to handle infiltrated or hacked material. That's like when that's the nonsensical, irrational obfuscation. They obfuscate all the time. And what they do is they just repeat the same corruption, but in a different manner. Well, you know it. There were deliberations. There were deliberations within Twitter. That's all it was. We already knew this. There's one journalist in NBC News says, well, yeah, Elon Musk is finding out that, there were internal deliberations, and people had a tough decision to make. Wrong. They're trying to deny the truth. Okay? The truth is that this story is about graft. It's about potential bribery. It's about criminal activity. Say it slowly. Wonderful, morally superior, highly educated person. Possible criminal activity leading to the presidency of Joe Biden. They're giving Hunter and businesses associated with Hunter hundreds of millions of dollars to influence the then vice president who lied about meeting or knowing about Hunter's businesses. He lied, say it slowly now, because there's possible criminal endeavors and activity going on. Okay, this is why everyone at Twitter wanted Trump to lose, and that's like, if you check the segment prior to this one, the last two segments on Ron DeSantis, these are the issues that Trump faces. Okay, Trump must face these issues and must capitalize on the missteps and the criminality and the corruption of his adversaries. If he can't do that, and DeSantis does that better, and DeSantis has the same foreign policy and economic policy, then there's no stopping DeSantis. The only person who could stop Trump is Trump himself. If he doesn't capitalize on those things, and he continues to make missteps. But at this point right now, I'm choosing Trump over DeSantis. If DeSantis proves himself the next 2 years, even more so, because he already has proven himself, then I'd have no problem with DeSantis. If it's anyone else other than Trump or DeSantis, I'm not voting Republican. That's 100%. I definitely, there's only two choices that I have. But the situation here is the following. They suppressed a story because it points to criminality. This is why morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrats disown friends and family. They're immune. The cognitive dissonance is so profound, and it's so it's such an impenetrable barrier because they don't know the corruption within their party, because Twitter, for example, suspended the New York Post, and people didn't really talk about it. Now when they're talking about it, they're saying, well, Twitter had every right to, because, it was a big story. It was a story that was difficult, and you know what? It could have been hacked material. It wasn't. They did so because of criminality and because it would hurt Democrats, so the truth about Democrats makes you vote for Trump. Hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. Be here for the live stream at 9 p.m. And I fixed the issues in terms of the live stream. I had the past night or two, there were some technical issues, but I fixed the issues. Should be amazing, good to go. Be here for the live stream at 9 p.m. If you want to, become a member, please do so. If you want to be a Patreon, please do so. Your support is greatly appreciated. If you want a super thanks, the super thanks is below. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel, the Stock Market Crash channel. And ladies and gentlemen, be here again for the live stream at 9 p.m. Look, Jack Dorsey now is telling Elon Musk to just release the unredacted, totally unfiltered files. The reason he hasn't done so is because Twitter had a legal department that probably made things very difficult, but he just fired the former FBI official who was running the Twitter legal department. So you don't have to go far in terms of the corruption. You have people, the former FBI official, Comey's top legal counsel was then worked at Twitter, who was then part of being deceived by Sussman. That legal official was part of the Steele dossier and also the Alpha Bank server. Both stories were complete and utter hoaxes. The problem is that when people don't realize that deceit and lies and manipulation is being done by, perpetrated by Democrats, they see that as just politics. But if it's Trump, oh my God, the end of the world. And again, that's something that Trump has to address. But all of that couldn't happen without Twitter. Now Elon Musk runs Twitter. Now it's a far more level playing field. The playing field was skewed. It was leaning far to the left. Now it's towards the middle. The problem is that the far left views the middle as like an abomination. They view the people on the far left view their work as a crusade, as a religious pursuit, because generally a lot of them are atheists, which is fine. Christopher Hitchens is one of my literary heroes. I love Christopher Hitchens, but they replace atheism with, they replace a belief in God with a belief in the Democratic Party or politics or MSNBC, CNN, the Washington Post, New York Times, The Atlantic, New Yorker, New York Magazine, Rolling Stone, Vanity Fair, Esquire, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, Seth Meyers, and former Intel officials, aging Hollywood celebrities and stars and producers and directors from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Okay. This is their religion. This is why they disown friends and family. You have to understand something. The cognitive dissonance is impenetrable. You cannot circumvent this cognitive dissonance because of things like Twitter. When Elon Musk went after Wikipedia, and then immediately people, there's no bias in Wikipedia. Then they explain, well, it's true that, researchers are generally, who update the articles, are generally left-leaning. It's like, okay, you just admitted there was bias. In defending no bias, they admit that there is bias. And if you have a conservative commentator or journalist or pundit, every negative article at the New York Times or the Rolling Stone or whatever is actually highlighted there. If there's a negative article written about AOC, for example, in the Washington Examiner or the National Review or the Federalist, it's not included. It's not included. And Lord knows what would happen if they tried to include negative articles or a controversy that was, spoken about or addressed in terms of a story that broke regarding any Democrat or any Democratic pundit or journalist. The problem, ladies and gentlemen, is when you expose or when you reveal the corruption within the Democratic Party, it's either immediately silenced or they repeat how the corruption took place in a morally superior, highly educated, liberal tone full of wonderful, morally superior sensibilities. So, for example, they'll say, Wikipedia's not biased. Then they'll say, well, it's not biased at all. It just so happens that researchers are left-leaning. So the spin is left-leaning bias. Okay, well, you just explained what the initial claim that you're trying to refute was. Then they say, the Hunter's, you can't prove anything with Hunter. Yeah, but you can prove a lot more than you ever could with a Steele dossier or with what the intelligence agency said about Trump and were proven wrong. Here you have people willing to testify, and they will all be subpoenaed, including Hunter and Joe. Imagine when Biden is subpoenaed for an ongoing criminal investigation regarding his son, and we have emails showing that Joe is implicated. So you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where it's not about internal deliberations, criminality, bias, an overt left-leaning stance, not just in the internet encyclopedias or whatever, within government, within social media. It's changing. It's changing, and I want to capitalize on that. I want Trump to capitalize on that. If he can't capitalize on that, and DeSantis can, and you get the best of Trump with DeSantis, in addition to what Trump had prior to, during 2016, if he can't recreate that, but DeSantis can, there's no stopping DeSantis. But the only person who can stop Trump is Trump himself. Give me your thoughts below. hit subscribe. And I'm telling you, I'm still siding with Trump right now. But when it gets to DeSantis Trump and Trump continues those missteps and DeSantis opposes Lincoln Project foreign policy, yeah, then it's DeSantis all the way. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe to this channel right now, ladies and gentlemen. Be here tonight for the live stream at 9 p.m.